What's up, everybody, man? It's your boy, Mr. Duga, coming at y'all with another video, man. And today, man, I'm going to talk about this afternoon's AFC wildcard game. You had the Indianapolis Colts beating the Houston Texans 21-7. The game started off, man, the first play of the drive, the Colts go all the way down the field, and you had Andrew Luck hitting Eric Ebron on a touchdown pass to give the Colts a 7-0 lead. Then later on, you had Marlon Mack getting a rushing touchdown to give the Colts a 14-0 lead. Then later on, you had Andrew Luck hitting Inman on a touchdown route where he ran a beautiful route, in cut, then he cut to the outside to give the Colts a 21-0 lead. And that was the score for the longest until like late in the third quarter. You had Deshaun Watson hitting Kevin Kuti on a touchdown pass to cut the lead to 21-7. And basically, that was your final score, man. The Indianapolis Colts 21, the Houston Texans 7. I did have the Indianapolis Colts winning this game, but I did have it as a much higher, much more competitive game. Like 31-30, I had the Colts winning this game. Shout out to their defense, yo. Shout out to the Colts D. They played that Tampa cover 2 all day. They confused Deshaun Watson. They got physical with DeAndre Hopkins, even though it looked like he got a little banged up during this game. May have not quite been his 100% self, but they ran a great scheme. It was a great defensive game plan for the Colts. And like I said, they got physical with them with corners like this year. And Houston had no lick of a running game whatsoever today. Deshaun Watson was their leading rusher with like 70-something, almost 80 yards rushing. Yeah, and offensively, man, what can I say about this offensive line? Andrew Luck, I don't think got sacked at all today. When you got J.J. Watt with 16 sacks on one side, you got Jadeveon Clowney, who was basically a Pro Bowler on the other side, a former #1 overall draft pick. And Andrew Luck did not get sacked one time, yo. At least not one time I can remember. Not only that, Marlon Mack ran the football for well over 100 yards rushing. You know, the difference in this game, man, not only was the Colts defense, but on offense for the Colts, it was their offensive line led by that all-world rookie guard, Quentin Nelson. What a performance by the Indianapolis Colts offensive line, yo. For this man to not get touched and for them to open up holes and allow this running back to run the way he did today against a stout defense against the run. Now, Houston has been a little susceptible against the pass, but they've been pretty stout against the run, and the Colts ran through them today. And they controlled the ball with time of possession and everything like that. And shout out to the big homie Frank Reich, man, our former offensive coordinator. His first playoff game, he gets his first playoff win. Me and everybody in Eagles Nation, man, we proud of you. You know, keep it going. Good job. Big game next week for them going up against the Chiefs. The Colts got something going here with this offensive line. Andrew Luck is back into his all-pro bowler type of form, throwing the football, running when he has to run, taking shots down the field. He looks completely healthy out there. Like I said, now they got this great young offensive line making holes and protecting him. They're running the football with Marlon Mack. You got receivers like a T.Y. Hilton who came into the stadium with a clown mask, man. Like Jonathan Joseph tried to take a little shot at him, but he calling him a clown and stuff. But he walked in with a clown mask, and he did a lot of damage, especially on that first drive of the game. After that, they didn't really need him much. But shout out to the Colts, yo. Good win on the road against a division opponent to end their season. And they jumped, and that's what you do when you're a team on the road. When the home crowd is full of energy and they juiced up and they ready to roll, you go up in there, you take them out the game right away. You go there, your first drive, you go down the field and you put points on the board, and then when they get the ball, you hold them 3 and out. And that's how you get the home field advantage out of the equation. You take the crowd out of the game by jumping on the home team early like that. And that's exactly what the Colts did. They dominated this game pretty much from start to finish. Great performance by the offensive line. Great performance by their defense. just a great overall team win, and now they heading on to the second round to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And as far as the Houston Texans, it was just a real ugly performance today, man. Especially on offense, just real ugly performance. DeAndre Hopkins, he didn't look too healthy today. The Colts, not to take nothing away from the Colts, because they did a magnificent job in defending him, but he didn't look fully healthy today. And Lamar Miller was he made a couple of plays in the passing game, or for checkdowns and having nice runs where he spun Leonard around and stuff like that on a play or two, but he gave them absolutely nothing in the run game. Lamar Miller gave the Houston Texans nothing in the run game whatsoever. And the receiving core from the outside of DeAndre Hopkins, who had probably the most quietest game he had all year, the other young receivers, the stage got too big for him. Cootie, he had the touchdown, a couple of decent catches. Vincent Brown didn't do anything. They didn't really use DeAndre Carter like that as a wide receiver. The tight ends didn't do too much. They had Ryan Griffin on one play where Big Game Deshaun overthrew him and missed him. But yeah, it was just a real ugly performance by them offensively, just putrid and hard to watch. And as far as defensively, they didn't get any pressure on Andrew Luck. The Colts Offensive Line dominated this matchup. They didn't get any pressure, and they didn't stop the run, and they couldn't cover receivers. It's amazing. It felt like the Colts scored more than 21 points. Because, like I said, they didn't get no pressure on the QB. They didn't stop the run, and they couldn't cover the receivers. Now, they did get a lucky bounce when J.J. Watt had tipped a ball in the air, and they ended up getting an interception deep in the red zone. But defensively, their whole team didn't show up today. They just didn't show up today. I felt like the Colts would win this game, but I thought it would have been much more competitive than what it was. They didn't show up today. In the playoffs, you gotta have, unless you got just an extremely hot quarterback, you gotta have some type of a run game. Especially with a young quarterback in Big Game Deshaun Watson, who in his first, he's played obviously a lot of huge games in college, but this is his biggest game he's played in his NFL career so far. And you got to give him some type of a run game to have a balance. Look, the running game Andrew Luck had today. They gave him, Lamar Miller got to give him more than that in the running game. Dante Foreman, he coming off of Achilles. He ain't fully healthy. Next season, he got to give them an extra jump in the run game. They need more receivers. I'm not going to say they need more receivers. They need healthy receivers. Let me say that. They need Will Fuller back healthy, and they need Demaryius Thomas back healthy next year. With those three receivers, they got a solid receiving core. But with no Demaryius Thomas, no Will Fuller, it's tough. Everything is on DeAndre Hopkins, and it's tough. Their offensive line has just been getting beat all year long. They traded away Dwayne Brown last year to the Seattle Seahawks, and apparently they haven't recovered from that. They going into the offseason, they need to find a way to fix this offensive line because Deshaun Watson is getting hit way too much. And that's not even talking about all the sacks that he runs away from. All the times when he gets pressured and he gets out of there. For him to be that mobile and still be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, something up with your old line. Like the Houston Texans need to fix their offensive line. Lamar Miller got to give them more in the run game. They got to have a more consistent rushing attack. They need their receivers to come back healthy. Defensively, Wiley and Clowney didn't really show up today, but they're good in that area. They linebackers, they're solid in that area. They really like their safeties and Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, and Justin Reed. They need more corners, man. Jonathan Joseph is getting a little long in the tooth. He's a veteran, playing with the Cincinnati Bengals back in the day. I remember that was a long time ago. And he's still basically your number one corner at this point in his career. The Houston, I know they drafted that guy from Wake Forest is it Kevin Joseph or something like that? I think he was hurt all year this year. But they need him to come back next year and be healthy and contribute. And they need to get younger at the cornerback position. Even with Kareem Jackson, he out there getting beat on these routes, got to grab the receivers to avoid touchdowns and stuff like that. But they look more like that team that started off 0-3 today instead of the team that went on that 9-game win streak. But congratulations to the Houston Texans. They had a good, solid season. They won their division, had a home playoff game. This is something that they can only learn from. This is something that they could take it with a grain of salt and get better for it. Your quarterback gained extraordinary experience today, and they just got to fix a couple of holes that they have to be able to be back in this position again next year. But congratulations to Frank Reich, my boy Frank Reich and the Indianapolis Colts, for moving on to the AFC divisional round where they're going to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. But with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Go and give me a subscribe, man. I'm going to have NFL content, man, throughout the season. Y'all have a blessed one. Fly, Eagles, fly.